Time is of the essence, so I'm going to show you the 5 things that you need to be aware of during and just before the 11/11 portal, and stay to the end as I'll share with you the things you need to be doing before the 11/11 portal and during it. So as for the 5 things that you may become aware of during the 11/11 portal, I want you to make aware of that 11/11 is a master number. It's seen as like spiritual insight, intuition, enlightenment, and often seen as a sign that you are on the right path or you're heading in the right direction. One thing I would say though, as you kind of head into the actual 11/11 portal, be aware of like the 2 days before the 11/11 portal and 2 days after the 11/11 portal, because the 11/11 portal itself is on the 11th of September, but those 2 days before and 2 days after it are also important as well, as we start to get like the energy start to build up, start to gear up as well. So the 5 things you need to be aware of, first of all, is number 1, that you might notice that you're getting more and more heightened spiritual awareness. So even if you're somebody who doesn't tend to have a very strong intuition, which I feel like many of you watching will actually have a strong intuition, but even those who don't will start to see it heighten and start to know and recognize more things as they go through it. Number 2 is synchronicities. So you might start to notice more and more synchronicities, either seeing more numerological signs, seeing more signs from the universe, whether it's like feathers or whether it's other ways that the universe tends to communicate with you. I feel like just in general, many of you might be noticing that already, but those are going to kind of increase as you get more and more messages coming through, especially with the heightened awareness as well. The other thing is as well, the next one, number 3, is that you'll start to notice that you start to kind of reflect inwards more and more. You start to reflect on what's gone on in the past, what is going on currently for you, and just generally doing a lot of inner work and self-reflection. Particularly, this is just before the portal, so it's from like the 9th to the 10th. Up to the 11th. So as you start to wax into the portal, you'll start to get more and more self-reflection. This is just really to kind of help you to kind of weed out all the things that don't serve you in your life, isn't useful in your life. Because if you imagine like life is like a handbag, there's only so much you can fit into it. So with all this manifestation coming in on the 11th of the 11th, that is needing some room in your life. So you can't shove everything in a handbag, you have to remove things sometimes, and that's why you're having to do this self-reflection to go, you know what, I don't need this relationship, I'm going to have another one, or I don't need this situation, I need to get rid of that so I can have a better situation coming in. So it's all about reflecting so you can make room. Next up with number 4 is unity and connection. So unity and connection, I feel like just in general, many of you might be feeling that already, that you're starting to feel a little bit more connected to people, a little bit like you're starting to become more aware of people that you're connected to and people that kind of really make an impact in your life. But there'll be a sense of like, I am part of the collective, or I'm part of the unified universe kind of thing. I'm part of the people around me, and just generally as we kind of sync up with everybody else, we start to kind of feel that same vibe. So sometimes we talk about this when we're talking about like, you know, a lot of people are dealing with like a big stress right now, or a lot of people are dealing with this right now, that sometimes there is just a lot of like astrological events that are happening that really impact everybody. So then we end up with this kind of like, we are all going through the same thing at the same time. You know what, I'm starting to kind of sense things in the collective, or I'm starting to experience things as part of a collective as we get closer, as we get into the portal. And finally, number 5, manifestations and wishes. So many people like talk a lot about this, about how the 11/11 portal is really good for manifesting, bringing in wishes, and really a powerful time to kind of make some big momentous moves forward, particularly like as we get into the portal and after it. But I'm going to share with like how you can prepare for those manifestations. So how can you actually bring these manifestations in? How can you prepare for it before and after? So I want to focus right now on before, because at the end of the day, you know, like with anything, like even like with Christmas time or holidays, we need to kind of do some house cleaning before. And that's one of the major things I want you to be aware of, is before the portal arrives, so before the 11th of the 11th, try and do some house cleanings, try and clean some things out. If you've got crystals, clean those crystals, that kind of thing. Do all those kind of cleaning things, removing things from your life, particularly items or junk or, you know, that kind of thing. Do some cleaning out of your space, cleaning out your crystals, that kind of stuff. Really to give it like a bit of a fresh slate, basically, as you go into the portal. So like you're doing like all the cleaning like the 9th and the 10th, that kind of thing, and then you're coming forward, and with this clean slate, it gives you something to basically, a whole new clean energy to basically to live in. So next up, I want to talk about is gratitude. So trying to be thankful for the things we already have. So before we start focusing on what we are manifesting, what we are wanting, first we need to kind of thank the universe. There's nothing worse than like going, oh, you know, somebody wants a gift from me and they haven't thanked me for the last one. So take some time, do some either gratitude journaling or show your gratitude to the universe in other ways, whether it's through rituals of literally going back to the earth, giving things back to the earth, or whether it's more like just literally just writing a letter to the universe saying, I am thankful for this. But do some gratitude practices to kind of really thank the universe for what it has given you and what you have achieved from it. Next up, I want to talk about like releasing old patterns and negativity. So you might have some sort of patterns that you know you should have got rid of ages ago, you know you should have released ages ago, but you still seem to kind of hold on to them. Now is the time before the portal opens, before that 11/11 portal, the 9th and the 10th, to kind of look at those with the self-reflection that you'll be getting from this time and say, you know what, I really need to stop eating that junk food, or I really need to stop putting myself down, or I really need to stop staying around with those negative people. Whatever those is, you need to kind of release those and reflect on it just before the portal. So again, you're having this clean slate, you're having this clean beginning. So next up is meditations or Reiki, or listening to like meditations while you sleep. So some people like guided meditations, other people's like just meditating on their own. Some people struggle a lot with meditation. If you do, try and check out some of the ones that people do where it's while you sleep. Some people like those. Or even if you can't do that, try some distance Reiki, or try just having it on in the background while you're, say, you know, doing another task, while you're like writing or doing your job. Having that in the background so you can start to take in some of those manifestations. But particularly, you need to be focusing on either guided meditations or Reiki that is focused on releasing old patterns. This is again coming back to the old slate, like being thankful for the universe and releasing old patterns. Anything to do with that, releasing, letting go of old patterns, to kind of really allow yourself to kind of give yourself that fully clean slate, enough room to manifest, enough room to breathe. And lastly, like if you are somebody that is interested in spell work, the great thing to do during that time is doing anything to do with like releasing or cleansing rituals. Again, similar effort, trying to release, trying to let go, so like cord cutting, that kind of thing. So lastly, when you do get to the portal, so this is literally on the 11th and the 2 days after it, you know, we want to focus more, we want to shift more into what are we trying to manifest, what are we trying to bring into our life. So before it was more like releasing, letting go, now we're into the manifestation side of it. So what do we need to bring in and what do we need to grow? So first of all, again, I want to talk about manifestations and basically talking about what is my dream life. So setting your intentions of what is my dream life. So this is a great time to do either a vision board. Some people like vision boards. If you've never done one, basically you have to like cut out pictures. You can do it digitally nowadays. You could do it on Pinterest. You could do it however you want. I personally like to do a vision board, and then I set it as my wallpaper on my computer, and that kind of keeps me motivated. You could do it on your phone as well, so you could make a little visual board image of what you want, your nice car, your nice boyfriend, whatever, whatever you're trying to manifest, do it as a vision board, and then set it somewhere that you're going to see it all the time, whether it's on the fridge, whether it's on your phone, whichever you want to do. Another way to cement your affirmations is to basically write yourself a letter. So this would be basically either a letter or a diary entry, if you find that easier, of like basically either imagining you're writing a letter to somebody else, somebody you know, or somebody in spirit, or writing basically a diary entry as if you already have your dream life. So for example, if your dream life is to be married with kids, you'd be writing, oh, hello, my granny, like, I had a wonderful day today with my kids on the beach. We had a lovely day on this holiday. We're going back to our fabulous house on such and such date, and we're going to have a wonderful time together, and that kind of thing. Like writing out your entire ideal life in the form as if it was a diary entry, or if it was a letter to somebody you knew. And write it out with this kind of feeling and emphasis as if you already have it. And that kind of really helps you to kind of fixate on that manifestation of what you're wanting to do. And also just the ritual of writing it down helps you a lot to kind of cement it into place. So another way to kind of cement this into place is, like everybody always loves, is affirmations. Now this is a much more easier and kind of beginner friendly way to kind of help with that, of having affirmations for your goals or your desires. So for example, if it's love, you'd be doing things like, I am lovable, I am loved, that kind of affirmations, but allowing yourself to chant those and to recite those every day, like when you wake up or before you go to bed, that kind of thing, just helps to cement it in. And like I said, it is a very easy and beginner friendly. Now next up, as we talk about guided meditations, and particularly those meditations that you listen to while you sleep, again, try it by just put it on in the background while you're doing your work, while you're doing your housework, while you're having your shower, whatever. Try doing it anyway, and particularly focus on any meditations that help you to manifest. So manifest your dream life, manifest what you want, that kind of thing. Particularly if you can get specific. So for example, if you want to manifest a job, find the job ones. If you want to manifest a relationship, find the relationship ones. Get very specific. Yes, this will help, but I would still say doing the affirmation board, so the idea of like the visualization board, that kind of thing, would be heavily useful, particularly just writing out what your clear goals are to achieve during this portal and in the next like 6 months or so. And lastly, I want to talk about spell work. So if you are somebody who likes spell work or is curious about it, particularly anything to do with, again, manifestations, wishes, so particularly things like, say, like the old writing your intentions on a bay leaf, that kind of thing, those kind of manifestation ones, we don't really want to do any cleansing or anything like that, removals as we're actually in the portal or just after it. You want to go into more of like the money magic, that kind of stuff, of how do we bring stuff in, how do we actually manifest stuff into our life, how do we kind of bring it in, particularly if you've got any gemstones like that you want to bring in. So for example, if you want to manifest love, you might stick with your rose quartz, having that around. If you want to manifest a really good sex life, you might want something like the sunstones, that kind of stuff. But whatever you're trying to manifest, try and bring that into your life with either spell work or gemstones, that kind of thing. So if you do have anything you'd like to manifest, please do let me know in the comments down below.